Some of us are emotionally paralyzed. We're not leading our family well. We are not present with our family, with our jobs, with the things that we do. We are just surviving at times. And anger is, I believe personally, that the root cause of all of this, anger is the root cause of it. When you feel that you are unable to express yourself without getting angry, is because anger is the root that causes you to be paralyzed, unable to lead your family the way that you know you should be leading, unable to be present.
This is the Legacy Maker Show.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Legacy Maker Podcast. This is a place when we desire for every man to live a life with purpose, with faith, and strength, so they can build a legacy that will last them forever. Even way after they're gone, their legacy continues because of the impact they made during this life. So this podcast is for you. Today, I want to be diving into actually a topic that we all men wrestle with, but very few of us are willing to admit. And this is a topic that is not often one that we want to acknowledge. And this topic is called anger. Anger. That's right. I want to tackle something that is huge, and actually the cost of a lot of issues. It's not just that anger that explodes and goes out loud at bursts and stuff like that. I'm talking about the silent anger also. Those moments that are silent, the kind that the simmers, the kind of that shuts people out, the kind of that builds walls instead of bridges, the ones that uses humor to put somebody down, the kind that causes you to go into a deep hole of depression, that the frozen anger that people carry in their hearts. And I want to talk about that today. And the reason I've been thinking about these guys is, if we don't realize the root cost of some of our issues, we're always going to deal with the surface level issues. And that's not going to help anyone. That's just really, in reality, it's kind of like when you're cutting weeds, right? You're cutting the weeds, you pull the weeds, you're breaking the weeds. But if you don't take it from the root, you don't burn the root down, those weeds are going to come back. And I think this is the same thing I want to be able to tackle today on this topic of anger. We all carry some sort of form of anger, maybe from your childhood. Maybe you have had experience some betrayal from a really good friend of yours, a spouse, a girlfriend, somebody that you love, somebody that you care about. They may have betrayed you. A deep sense of rejection. You may feel some sort of rejection in your life, and you've been rejected time and time again. And maybe some unfairness that happened to you. Maybe you should have gotten the promotion that you did. Maybe you should have had certain opportunities that somebody else got they were not as prepared as you were, or they may not have the abilities as you were. So, I want to be able to cause that. So, maybe because you have never dealt with those type of situation, many of us have learned to just live with this thing, and that we mask it, we give it a name, we gave it a description. The world trying to tell us, hey, you may be this type of person, you may be very use humor, and so we wanna give it a label, but we don't wanna deal with the root cause. And I think this is super important, guys. I really feel that in my heart that we want to deal with the root cause of what is this, what is this coming, where is this coming from, and what it does to you. So the first thing I wanna dive in today is that anger paralyzes your purpose. Anger paralyzes our purpose. Now, in the Bible says, be slow of anger. Be slow to anger. It doesn't say not to get angry. Anger is an emotion, and the emotions are given to us as a gift. But anger says, be slow to anger, because your anger is not righteous sometimes, and it causes harm to somebody. A lot of us use anger as a defense mechanism. Anger that protects us. When we feel misunderstood, disrespected, or disappointed, we respond by lashing out and shutting people down. And that's how we use anger to defend ourselves. But what does anger really do in the sense of what it was supposed to be, the righteous way that it was supposed to approach? Now, I know many of you are going to be like, Roger, come on, righteous anger. I know, guys. The more that I was thinking about sharing this with you, it almost like it doesn't make sense in my head. I know it's the truth, but it's like it doesn't compute because we are used to using this emotion as a defense mechanism. Now, what anger does to us is keeps us from hearing clearly. It also makes us act before we think. We have heard this many times, and we have done it this many times. It breaks the trust with people we love. There's no way you can continue to build trust and respect when a first defense mechanism is anger. So it breaks the trust with people that we love. And most of all, it blocks the righteousness or the right way that this anger was supposed to use the God place and wants to produce in us. And I know I'm gonna come back to this, but I just wanted to leave that linger in your head. That anger, it blocks the way that it's used incorrectly, it blocks the righteousness that God wants to produce in all of us. Some of us are emotionally paralyzed. We're not leading our family well. We are not present with our family, with our jobs, with the things that we do. We are just surviving at times. And anger is, I believe personally, that the root cause of all of this, anger is the root cause of it. When you feel that you are unable to express yourself without getting angry, is because anger is the root that causes you to be paralyzed, unable to lead your family the way that you know you should be leading, unable to be present when you need to be present. And I believe that anger is preventing you to do this. And anger, I believe that anger is just a secondary emotion, but it's not the first thing. What rises in us to respond to pain, fear, and frustration is almost like this reaction when we feel pain, when we feel frustrated, is that emotion that comes out immediately, like the first responder of ourselves to protect ourselves. But the question is, why do we resort to anger? What is that? What do we feel like anger should be our first response? But I would like us to almost like flip the script and ask a different question. Not why am I angry? What do I get angry? But what hurt am I protecting? Because remember, anger is a protection mechanism that we are using in order to almost like put a shield of our emotions to not allow people to hurt us. So what hurt are you feel that you're protecting? What is that you feel like you are almost like trying to solve by reacting the way that we reacted? For many men, our anger has started years ago. Maybe you have a dad that left you guys, or he have been there for you, but he wasn't emotionally present for you. He actually was emotionally disattached from you. And you begin to build this anger, but you don't know how to express it because it's your dad, because you have to continue to survive. Maybe somebody abused you. Somebody abused you either physically or emotionally, and you were defenseless. And that caused this frozen anger that you don't even know where it comes from. Maybe someone told you that you were not good enough, that you are pathetic, that you're a loser. And you believe in that. You believe those things that were spoken over you. So what did we do with it? Because we're unable, because we were a child, we were young, we didn't know what to do with that information that we just got. Your dad left you, or he's not there present, or you've been abused emotionally or sexually, and you don't know how to. You have that capability. You didn't have the ability to deal with that. So what did we do? We bury it. We suppress that, and we went to our lives saying, I'm fine, I'm okay. But now you're in your 30s, now in your late 20s, now you're in your 40s, now in your 50s, and that old wound that you received still open, still bleeding out. And what happened is bleeding on over people that had nothing to do with it. Is bleeding over, is spilling over people that literally have nothing to do with what happened to you. And yet, because you didn't know how to deal with it, it just burst out when you even not wanted it to burst out. What is what you expect? What do you want it? What do you hope from people? But yet you don't get it. What expectations you had of yourself or people, and they were unmet by anyone, and so that caused frustration, and that frustration turns into resentment, and resentment has turned into a rage that you feel comes out in the most bizarre times. Because what happens here, guys, is rage robs you with the clarity, the peace, the love. But it doesn't start right there. It doesn't start just with the rage. It starts with the expectations of people to be able to meet the need that you have. And because they're unable to meet that expectation, frustrates you. And then you have your resentment against them. Then you have this rage, and you don't even know where it comes from. And let's be real, it's not always loud rage. It's not like you just go like Hulk. Sometimes it doesn't come like that. Sometimes it's passive aggressive, silence. You give somebody the silent treatment. Somebody, maybe you are using words that are going to hurt somebody. Sometimes you want to control the situation, control people. Sometimes you want everything to be perfect, and you get angry when things are perfect. And guys, I am talking this to me myself, man. I am literally, as I was going through this, trying to figure out what to chat with you guys about today, I really felt like, man, I am dealing with this almost all the time. It's like there is so many things that I begin to think and to remember that I have allowed this anger to control without being so exposed. And all of those ways that this anger comes out, this rage comes out, all of it, the root is anger. They just wears different types of masks. But everything, I was talking we were getting with a bunch of guys, and this guy just began to just put people down, non-stopping. It wasn't like just one time. It was just non-stopping, putting people down. You know what that comes? Using that type of mechanism is anger. It's just a different mask. Humor, bullying, because deep down there is an anger. There is anger that people have not dealt with. And what we need to understand is what type of damages anger causes. What type of damages this thing that we don't want to deal with is causing. And I want to say it very, 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 very clear to anyone that is listening today. Anger will cost you everything. If you don't surrender it. It will cost you, it will rob you, it will strip you naked if you don't deal with. Anger will ruin your marriage, because what happened to you when you were a child, and I know it was terrible, guys. I know it was awful. I know it was bad. I know it was despicable. But now you bring it into your marriage just because you don't want to deal with. It will ruin your marriage. It will cause you to be distant from your kids. It will cause you to almost feel like your kids will never accept you because of what happened to you. So you keep your kids at a distance because you don't want them, you feel like they're going to hurt you too. It will create tension in every relationship that you have. You're always going to go into a relationship feeling they're going to disappoint me, feeling they're going to betray me, feeling they're not going to be there for me. So you go into this relationship already with a preconceived notion of what they're going to do. And the worst thing is that it slowly is going to disconnect you from God. And I'm not saying you're not going to go to church or you're not going to do the things that you know they're right to do, but it's just going to disconnect. You're not going to be connected with God. You're going to be distanced from God. And what I want to say to every man that is listening today is very, very simple. You cannot build a legacy if you are fighting the wrong battles. You will not be able to build a legacy that you were meant to build if you're fighting the wrong battles. Again, in the same book that I was telling you about in the Bible, in James, says human anger does not produce righteousness God's desires. Human anger cannot produce good fruit. You can win the argument, but you will lose your witness, your testimony. You can even be in your home. You can even be married for many, many years. You can even have an incredible family, but you may have lost their hearts because of anger. that you didn't want to deal with. And if we're not careful, guys, I'm including myself into this, okay? Please, please, please hear me. If you're not careful, anger will turn you into the very thing that you swore you would never be. Anger would turn into the person that you were running for many, many years from. The person that you hated, what hurt you the most, now you're going to turn into that person, the person that is going to hurt. That's terrible. That is actually terrible. Think about it. What caused you to be in this place where you are right now? The anger would make you be that same very person. Some of us are walking around anger, not because what happened this week, but because of what we've never ever were willing to deal with. We all just on this little circle of anger, and you're like, I don't have anger. Okay, guys, come on, let's be real. What happens when somebody pulls in front of you on the road? What happens when your food is not there on time? What happens when you're going to a restaurant and it takes in forever, or they don't refill your drink? When people put you down, when you feel people are making fun of what happens in our hearts. And let me tell you, your legacy is way, way too important to let anger control, dictate your future. And I'm gonna let you know what I feel God is calling us to do with that anger. What do we do? Okay, now we expose it. We know we have anger. I've been dealing with this forever. I've been dealing with this thing that, that I had no idea it was anger. I just knew that I was in a place where I was putting people down, or I was distant myself from my family, distant myself from my kids. I was always feeling like I was in this situation where people were just waiting to put me down. Now we know, hey, you know what? I may have anger, but now what do I do with it? How do I surrender something that has been with me for so many years, Roger? Okay, fine. I have anger. Now what do I do with it? And I want to give you 3 different steps to deal with this anger that we have. And I want you to really, really zone into this, because I believe that God wants to set us free. He wants us to be free, and free indeed, of this anger that we have. First thing I want you to do is slow down and search your heart. Slow down. Be slow to become angry. You can't fix what you won't face. Ask yourself these questions. What did this trigger me? What is the way that they looked at me? What made me frustrated? What caused me to feel like this? What lie am I believing about this situation? Am I believe that people don't care about me? Am I believe that people don't like me? Am I believe that I'm not good enough? What lie am I believing? That who hurt me that I haven't forgiven? Who hurt you? Okay, fine, it was terrible. Okay, fine, it was horrible. Okay, fine, it was horrific. It was the worst thing. I get it. But now, what do you want to do with it? You want to carry it until you die? And you want to ruin every beautiful thing that is around you just because you are unwilling to let go? Your anger is trying to protect something. It's trying to protect something that is rotten. It's time to identify what that is. It's time to figure out what is it that my anger is protecting. Because I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to experience those feelings again. What is anger trying to protect? So the first thing is slow down and search your heart. Number 2, bring it to light. Bring it to light. Quick to listen. Bring it to light. You need someone that you can talk to. You need someone in your life. And if you don't, guys, you are doing a disservice to yourself. You got to have somebody that you can trust, that you can go to. Anger grows in the dark. Anger creates fruits in the dark. Anger creates these stories in the dark. And confession breaks its power. Confession breaks the power that this anger has over your life. Let me tell you this, and I want to say, God heals that which you bring to light. But what you hide in your heart, He can't heal. So you want God to heal your heart? You want God to heal that which has been a thorn on your side for many, many years? Bring it to light. Find someone that you are able to share this with. And then finally, surrender it and replace it with the truth. Surrender and replace it with the truth. In Ephesians 4:16 says this, but speaking the truth in love may grow up in Him in all things, which is the head, even Christ. And Ephesians 4:26, says, be angry, but don't sin. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Be angry, but don't sin. Deal with it today. You're sin not because you felt angry, but because you didn't deal with it. Okay, somebody pull in front of you, hey, you felt angry? Deal with it. Lord, I'm sorry. I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's not going to make a difference that I get there 5 minutes before. Replace lies with truth. I am not a failure. I am forgiven. I am not abandoned. I am adopted. I don't have to control everything because at the end of the day, God is in control. It's not about stopping anger. You can't stop this avalanche, but it's about walking in peace and in purpose. And that's what it's about. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. Imagine this humongous, huge oak tree, right? And this oak tree has beautiful branches and it's humongous, 50 feet tall, huge trunk. And that's your anger. And what we call a tree of anger. So tree of anger, when you begin to deal with it, you're cutting branch after branch, but the anger is still there. And it's going to be time where you're finally going to get to the trunk, but it takes a process and you need to be patient with yourself, but you need to admit, you need to figure out what is that is causing you to be angry. What had happened to you that keeps you so angry all the time into a rage, and begin to deal with. It's not a stopping, but it's about walking in peace and in purpose in your life. And I'm going to say this, and I want to challenge you with this to everyone who's listening. You are not weak for struggling with anger. Not at all. Not at all. Everyone deals with some shape or form of anger. You'll be weak if you keep denying that you have anger. That's when you're going to be weak. If you can live it in denial and you're pushing people away from you because of your anger and you're preventing them from showing you what true love looks like. This is not who you are. You are not an angry child. You are a man with purpose and with peace that has anger but is dealing with. God didn't call you to walk around bitter and bound and ball inside. He didn't call you to be all of those things. It's not cool, man. He called you to walk in love, in leadership, in truth, in gentleness. And your wife, your kids, your family, friends, your legacy, they need you healed, man. They need you healed from this thing that has been after you for many, many years. It's time. It's time to deal with it. Not being perfect, by surrendering every day. So here's what I will challenge you. Name what you have not named yet. Name that. Whatever that is, just name it. Give it a name. Talk to someone. Find somebody. Bring it to light. And ask God to show you where the root is. And ask Him to pull it out. What is the root of your anger? Where does it come from? What happened? And bring it to light. It's not worth it. What happened to you when you were 5, 7, 10, 16, 17, 18 is affecting you today, causing you to push everyone away because you're trying to protect yourself from that pain that you felt before. Go and deal with it. Heal it. Let God heal it and change it. Transform it. So today you can be all that you can be. And as I was saying last week, the same God who wrestled with Jacob in the dark and gave him a new name, a new identity, is willing to wrestle with you until your anger is gone, until your anger is vanished and your purpose is born. You are, my brother, a legacy maker. And the legacy starts with peace and no pain. Don't carry it alone. Don't fake it. Don't let anger write your story, because your story is much more than that. You are made to live a life with purpose, with faith, and of legacy. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. I really appreciate it. But I want to encourage you to please share this with someone. I know it takes time to copy the link and send it, text it to a friend, but I would just encourage you to do it. Even if you feel weird, if you're like, okay, I don't know, he's gonna like this dude, just send it. One word may change their life. One word may impact their life. And one word may help them to begin to build their own legacy. Share it, comment, like it. Until then, Again, thank you and have a great day. God bless.